and he's an Android developer, and he has done a lot of really cool projects. Right. So Shreyas is an Android developer and he has done really cool projects. So you can go and check him out in LinkedIn. And he's also an open source contributor, and he is an organizer in Cortland, Mumbai. And he is with us today here to teach you all how to build a very simple application. So this can be super helpful for you all when you're finishing up your course material in order to finish this study jams program. So Shreyas, hello, Shreyas.
Okay, sure, sure. Yeah, hi. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. So, yeah, I'm really excited to be here. Thanks, BSc MLRIT, for giving me chance. So, today I will show you how to build a basic Android app. So, can I start?
Yeah, Shreyas, you can get
Okay,
started.
sure, sure. So, let me share my
And
screen.
guys, follow along with Shreyas and put in any doubts that you have in the chat box so that he can answer your questions. Yeah.
Sure. So, I will answer all of your questions at the end. Okay. So, I hope you are familiar with Android Studio now. Or if not, then it's still no problem. I will let you know how it works. So I have installed Android Studio's latest version, which is 4.1.0 on my machine. And yeah, I will suggest use always latest version because Google always launches some bug fixes and all. So today we will develop a basic application, which is calculator application. So I will show how to create a new project. Okay, so just click here, create a new project. And now here a new window will appear, and now they will ask like what your application will work for example, here are some options like phone and tablet. So this will just create application basically for our mobile phones or tablet. Then here is a Wear OS, so wearables view uh, for watches, and here is a for Android TV, here is for Android car, and this is for IoT thing. So now we are just developing application for phone and tablet. So here are some templates like how your app should look like, starting like this. Or there is some navigation means the UI which you can see in Instagram application, or some full screen application. Or you want Google Map, you want login sign up page setting, you want some scrolling activity, some navigation like a Gmail like application, or some details, or this you can see like tab activity, which is like WhatsApp. So today we will pick this empty activity, so I can show you like how to build this application. Okay, so now you will need to enter your application name here. For example, I will enter application as my calculator. Okay, and here is a package name. So package name means what? So package name should be unique. So whenever you upload your application on the Google Play Store, then a unique thing is package name. So your application is always identified by package name. For example, WhatsApp has a package name that com.whatsapp, so like that. And Facebook has something like com.facebook, means I don't remember full name. So just so today I will give package name that com.example.calculator. Okay, so whenever I publish my app on Google Play Store, then this will be a unique identifier of my application. And if there is an existing application with this package name, then my application won't be accepted at Google Play Store. So we should always choose this as unique. And this is save location, and this will ask for programming language you want to continue with. So today we will pick Kotlin because Kotlin is a very good language for Android development as per my experience. And yeah, this is minimum SDK version. So for example, you can see here, here is Android 5.0 selected. So what does that mean? So this application will run on device at least having Android Lollipop and above. So this application won't run on KitKat devices because we have chosen minimum SDK version at 5.0. So if you want to support lower versions, then you can select here. But still, it's not need as of now for today's session. So I will continue as it is. So I will click on this finish, and you can see this project will be open now. So this is Android application project window. So first of all, I will explain you how this project structure of this Android Studio looks like. So I will close all these windows. and I will explain how these things works. So first of all, when once application project is created, you will see here this okay, can you clearly see this? Just answer, like it is clearly visible.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thanks. So there are three main options, or we can say structure here. So this is manifest, this is Java, or this is Race. Race means resource. So I will start from resource. So what is resource? So whatever statically we are using in our application means a resource. So for example, it may be your image, it may be any font file, or if you are a web developer, then you might have created CSS files or design files, and you store it in any folder like font, images, or any static asset. So these static assets can be stored in this resource folder, and these resources have now you can see there are four folders again here. So drawable, layout, map, and values. So drawable means what? Here you can put any image you want to display in application. Okay, so if you want to put any image in application or any in view, then you can directly paste your image here and we can use it in later. So layout, so this is important part of this resource. So for example, you can see here activity main is created by default. So you can see here is our UI of application. So this here we can design UI for our application. So for example, this will be shown, this will be launched when we start our application. So you can see here are some components in palette. For example, you want a button, you can directly drag and drop here. For example, you want a image view, then you can directly drop it here, and you can set images from the samples and all. So this is how you can design in Android. So what all design we do in Android is done in these layout files. So whatever you want to design, you should be you should design this in layout files, this XML files. So this is just a drag and drop UI. But if you want to do manual thing, then you can see here, here are three options: code, split, and design. So split view will show you design as well as code, and if you just want to see code, then how it is look like. So for example, you can see we have this button. So if I delete this, code will be changed here. And if I want to add button manually, then I can simply add it. Like for example, I can directly click button here. So width and height, this is common design pattern. So we will need to specify width and height. So wrap content means it will adjust whatever size it required, and match parent means it will consume whole size. So for example, if I change width to match parent, then you can see it will consume this whole width. So that's meaning of match parent. And wrap content means it only will allocate the width which is really required. So here is I will show you more things, because we will learn how design works in Android later part while developing our real application. And whatever code we write in Android, okay, this is inside this source folder. So this is Java, or you may call Kotlin. So as your in previous sessions, you might have know that Kotlin and Java are interoperable. So you can write Kotlin code and call it from Java code, or you can write Java code and call it from Kotlin code. So they are 100% interoperable. So for example, in this Java, you can see this our package name which we created earlier, and here is a file main activity. So here we are writing our whole code. So Android lifecycle has some methods like on create, on destroy, on start. So based on this lifecycle events, we can manage a hierarchy of Android. So for example, on create. So what is meaning of on create? So when this activity is launched, and when the screen is created, then we can do whatever we want. So for example, if I want to explain you in simple, like normal programming language, we write our program in main function, right? So this is how we do in Android. In Android, when application is launched, we can do whatever we want on UI with in this body, like do whatever here. So this is how. And one of the important thing is manifest. So what is manifest? So manifest gives us the information of application, so what this application is using and what this application has. So for example, you want to use internet in your application, and you have written a code which accesses internet, then your app will be crashed, okay, because you haven't added permission in this manifest. So for example, I want to declare a permission. i will uh, I will need to write here uses permission, and here are different types of permission. So internet, access background location, access check-in, access course location, file location, and there are so many. Like if you want to save files in your applications, then there is a permission like write external storage. For example, you want to read phone book of your phone, then I think there is a read call logs, read contacts, and so many different permissions. So as per your need, you can declare permissions here, and if you don't declare this here and directly use in application, then your application will be crashed. So you might have seen that when you install any new application, then you get a dialog like allow or deny this permission. For example, let's say WhatsApp. So WhatsApp asks for phone permission because they want to read contact names and all. So this is how it works. So for example, I will declare internet permission here, then okay, internet permission will be allowed for my application. So here is a application tag, okay, and then application in this application tag we need to declare what we are using, okay. So for example, here we have declared this activity. So activity is what? Activity's name is main activity, and main activity, we just saw this main activity code here. So what it does, like main activity is launcher activity. So what does that mean? So whenever this application is launched, whenever this my calculator application is launched, then my activity will be shown first because we have declared it as a launcher activity. And if I by mistake remove this, then my application won't start, because whatever I'm using in this application, I will need to declare this in manifest. So manifest is important, or we can say main entry point of this application. So whatever information which will be always parsed from here. So for example, if we are using another activity in Android app, then we will need to declare it as well. So for example, we have second activity. So we don't have right now, but we can declare it right this. And since it is not launcher activity, right? Because launcher activity is main activity. We want only main activity to be start at first. So we can simply remove these other things from here, and you as this we can declare second activity. Okay, let me introduce you another thing, AVD. So AVD is what? Android virtual device. So you can see here is a symbol of phone and Android robot, AVD manager. So when you build application, you want to test it, but how you can test it on your laptop itself, on your machine itself? So here we can create virtual device. So for example, here I have created this virtual device and of Pixel, which has Android 10.0 version. So when I click this launch, then a virtual device will be launched on my system, and which will exactly look like an Android system where I can test my exactly apps. So if you want to create virtual devices, you can directly create it from here. So for example, I will click here, create virtual device. And okay, which type of virtual device you want? TV, phone, Wear OS. So currently we just want phone. So I will select this phone, Pixel XL 5.5-inch screen with the resolution and density. I will click next. Which operating system we want? Like here are few operating system like Nougat. I have some other like Jelly Bean, old also, and you can download app as per your need, and just click next, and your AVD will be created. So, but from my on my machine, it is already created. So I just click it cancel, and if you want to create, you will just need to click finish, and AVD will be created. So as you can see, I clicked this play button earlier, and you can see this Android is virtual devices launched on my system. You can see I can it seems like real Android app. So for example, I will do one thing. I will launch this app itself from now state, whatever state it is. So I will if you want to run app, you need to press this green play button, and this will simply build this project. Okay, this will build your project, and once project build is successful, it will directly launch your app here. And if your project has any errors, then you will see them here. And now you can see it is building, and if you want to get build status, then you can simply click here build, and it will show you which process is running. it is doing. I will simply do this so we can do all thing. Okay. And it takes some time for the first time whenever it is building. And once you run it a lot, it will just complete in like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. And yeah, this is very heavy. So this Android Studio uses Gradle project, Gradle in system, because so what is Gradle? Gradle is just a project management tool, or we can say a tool. It provides variety of features which I like, if I can't tell you, because it's very vast. So now you can see build is successful. Okay, and now app will be installed here. Okay, and you can see app is installed. And yeah, button we added earlier, this is that button, and this is hello world text. So this is how you can run your application. Okay, and okay, I will show you another parts of this resources. So for example, as I told you, we can do design thing here. Okay, so in these resources we have these values, and in these values there are some uh, resources like colors, strings, and themes. Okay, so this theme is applied for our application. For example, this is theme of our application, and you can see, okay, you can see we have chose this color primary as purple 500, this color primary variant for purple 700, and you can this theme is applied for this application. So what is this color? So color is this simply this color file, and all these colors are declared here. Okay, as you can see, if I open colors.xml, then you can see all colors are declared here. So for example, I want to change anything. So if I change color, if I want to change theme of my application, so I will do simply I will click here, and I will be able to change. For example, I will choose this green color. Okay, I will choose this green color everywhere just for demo, and I will just change this its name to green. Okay, and I will simply remove this other two because it's repetitive. And if I will simply go to themes, and you can see error occurred because we removed that purple property. So I will simply replace it with green. Okay, we change this, and now I will simply rerun this application. Okay, I will click restart here, and our app will be compiled again and will be launched again here. Okay, so here is another error. Okay, so there are two themes for night theme also. So for example, you want to have a night mode in your application, then you can declare multiple styles and themes and any type of themes. So I have fixed that error again, and I have recompiled app, and this application will be now restarted, and you can see it's restarting, and you can see now application looks like green. So this is how you can change themes in application. Okay, so now that's just I guess. So now let's start developing our Android app. Okay, so today we will build a calculator app which will just do addition of two numbers or something like that. Okay, then we will see how to do it in Android. So I will close this now because we will need time to develop it. So for example, we have this design files. Okay, I will show you different layouts. So in this layout, there are so many layouts. For example, you can see here constraint layout. So as constraint layout, there are so many layouts like linear layout. So linear means a linear layout means every component will be in a linear. For example, it may be horizontal, it may be vertical. There is a relative layout where you can put any object as anything. And here is a grid layout. So for example, you want to show a data in row column like things, then you can use grid layout. Okay, so and I can we can see like in designing there are different layouts mentioned here. So constraint layout is used by default, and it's very powerful layout which is recently launched in Android. And this is table layout. So if you want to show table in Android, then you can use this. So we will use constraint layout as it's more powerful, and I will show you how to use it. Okay, so I will replace it, and now I will remove everything from here, and I will show you how to design whole UI. So now you can see this is blank. Okay, so for calculator application, what we will need? We will need two fields. Okay, for number one and number two. So just go to text here, and here are so many options for text. So for example, this is text view. So this is just text view, and it won't accept user input. Okay, so for user input, we just want a number. So here you can see a number. So I can simply drag and drop it here. Okay, and you can see this is added, and I will need to pass it some constraint now. So for example, where it will lie on this top, below this top, and horizontal constraint from center, suppose. Okay, and I will again for example, this is for number one, and I want for number two also. So I will again drag and drop it here, and now I want this on below of previous field. Okay, so I will do what? I will just uh, attach this to bottom of that previous field, and same as we did earlier. And now you can see these two fields are added. Okay, but now it seems weird. Okay, right? So if I run this, then you will see. Okay, now I have just installed this application, and you can see this is showing nothing. We want some hint for user. Okay, so how you can do it? So just click on here, and this property will be selected. Okay, and whatever you are creating will be showed in this component tree. So I will click on this attributes, and you can change its attribute. Okay, so for example, I want hint means what? I will directly show you. So for example, if I give hint number one, okay, and you can see hint will be printed here, and I will give hint for this number two. You can directly set property from here and here as well. So you can change whatever you want, and I will simply restart this application now, and you can see, okay, you can see number one and number two here, and now we can type anything, right? So this is how hint applies in Android. And now there are so many properties which we can change. Okay, you can change background. It is a lot, and if you want to explore it, you can try, because it's so easy. And now this ID, we will need to change this ID. So what is this ID? Now we are doing this design in XML. Okay, we are doing this design in XML, and how we can access this in code. Okay, so for code, we will need to give ID for each and every view we are using. For example, for this number one, I will give ID as et number one. Et number one means what? Et means edit text number one, or we can simply call it as field number one. So field sounds good, I guess. Field number one, I click enter, and same for field number two. Okay, so this ID will be helpful for using it in code level. So now this is too much on the start, right? So this is like uh, too much attached to the top app bar. So I will simply give it a margin. For example, here you can change it. For example, I want 16 lower from above. So then you can see it is changed. For example, if I change to 32, it will add a gap there, add a margin there. And in these two numbers, I will add a margin of suppose 8. Then it will, I guess, look like. So now we want a button, right? Add a button. So I will simply drag and drop this button here. And where I want this button below this edit text 2. So I will simply edit, and we'll do same as we did earlier. So it will be horizontal. So why I did this, like why I added this constant and this constant, so we can move this like this button in a way we want, so wherever we want it. So this is advantage of constraint layout. And for this button I will give id like button add. Okay, and what will be the text of this button, we can simply change it from here. So for example, I just want plus symbol at the button, then you can see this is added. And we want some margin. Now I will again add a 16 margin here, and I will simply restart this application now, and let us see how it looks. Okay, button ID was added. I will need to rerun this application. And you can see, okay, our layout is ready, right? We designed our app and it works. Okay, but now we need to write logic here as well, because this is just design and we didn't written logic yet. And now whatever will be the result of this addition, where we will show it in a text view, right? So I will simply drag and drop a text view here, and text view below this button. Okay, so we will show result here. For example, what is addition of these two numbers, then we will show it here. So I will call it text result. Okay, so we can show result here, and I want it to be highlighted, means bigger, its font should be bigger, right? So I can simply change its font from, for example, I will go down. Okay, and you can also search your prop attributes from here. For example, if I click font, then I can also change font of this. And if I click size, then I will get this text size. So this is by default 14 sp, and I want it like 36 sp, then it will be bigger, right? I want different color. Okay, so by default it is like something related to gray and black color. And if I want to change this color, I can simply, for example, I want it as a blue color, then I will simply click on this blue, and you can see this color is changed now. And by default this text should not show anything, right? Means this only text view, just it's just not enough. So I will change this text. For example, result will appear here. Okay, so this is how it will look. And now I will simply restart this application, and let us see how it looks. So you can customize it as per your own needs, because so this is just a demo app, so I think this is suffice. Okay, so design is completed. Now let's code. Okay, so I will show you one thing. So for example, in traditional Android, so for in some past years, we need to access these IDs. Okay, for example, here are field number one, number two, button add, and text result. So how we can get it in this code? So for getting it in previous versions of or in previous months, in previous some years of Android, then traditional method was collecting them by ID. So for example, we want field one, then we need to call this find view by ID. So this field is of which type? This field is of edit text type, right? So we will need to mention this edit text here, and we will need to give ID. So what was the ID? Its ID was field number one. Then I will need to pass r.id dot field number one, and this is how we collect UI component of this field number one in this code here by using this. And we will need to do manually for everything, every view. For example, for this button, for example, this field 2, I will add this field 2. For example, for button sum or button add, I will need to write this and button add. And it is of type edit a button, so I will need to pass button here. Okay, so you can see this is very complex. This was very complex part, but Android has recently launched view binding, which automatically binds your views into the code. So we don't need to do this manually. So I will show you how to apply this view binding. So just go to this Gradle scripts, and this app level Gradle script. So this is project level Gradle script, which you can see project, and this is module, means app level. So in this Gradle file, we can do configurations of our applications. For example, here you can see example com.example calculator. This is our package name, which they call here application ID. This is minimum SDK version, and as this, we will need to declare view binding here. So how to apply view binding? Build features. So if you don't understand this, then please ignore, because whenever you actually will interact with it, or will start looking into it, then you will automatically get these things. So view binding true, and I will just sync this project now. And okay, view binding is generated for me now. So whatever application files I will create, its Kotlin file or its Java file will be generated now. For example, you can see what was name of our layout. It is activity underscore main. So now activity main binding, this class will be automatically generated by Android Studio view binding plugin. So I will simply call activity main binding. So you can see we have automatically, this file is automatically created. So for example, I will show you another demo. For example, you can see, can you see here any second activity binding? No. So I will temporarily create a new resource file. Okay, for example, you want to design a new resource or for second screen in your application. So how you can add? You can just right click on layout, new, and layout resource file. So this will create a new resource file. So for example, here I will call activity underscore second. Okay, and I will click OK. Okay, this activity file is created now, and view binding should be also created for this now. So for example, I will call here activity second binding. So you can see its binding is already created now, and we can directly access its view now. So I will simply delete this activity second since we are not using it now, right now. So how you can create this? So just create a binding variable here. For example, I will add this binding, val binding. So um, I can conclude that like if you understood Kotlin concept, like what is val and where. So I will collect this binding in activity main binding and dot inflate, and just pass layout inflator here. So it does what? It inflates, it renders your UI on this method. And instead of this set content view r.layout.activity main, you just need to pass binding dot root. Okay, so what is root? Root means top level hierarchy of your top level view of your layout. So for example, here is top constraint layout at the top. So constraint layout will be set to this activity. So what does that set content view does? So it, for example, this application is launched, then whatever the view you are seeing here, it is because of set content view. Okay, so if I click this root, control plus this root, then I will automatically get this constraint layout. So this is how it does. And now as we can as we saw earlier, like it does, we need to use find view by id and all things. So how you can do it right now? I just need to use binding dot field number one, number two, and it does all these things. So this is how it is. And now, for example, I will need to add a function. Okay, for example, I will need to add a new function for addition of two numbers. So what is a function for addition of two numbers? I will just declare a function for an add, which will have two parameters. For example, num1 of let's say double type. Okay, it can be a decimal number, right? And num2 as again double, and it will return what? It will return again a double, and return num1 plus num2. And if our application, if in Kotlin function, if your expression is single line, then you can directly use it without return. So how can you do it? You just write it here, and yeah, it will do. And I guess you can read this. Means it's simple to read now. Go and add num1 num2, and it returns double. And when you declare your single expression using a plus, then return type is also not required. But for code readability, like it's better to understand like what this function return is return double. So okay, now when should we uh, add these two numbers? Okay, when this button is clicked, we want result. Okay, so how to make that button clickable now? Okay, this is view component. We designed this button in activity main, so we can access it using binding. So binding has all resources created. As you can see, button add field number one, field number two, text result. So we want to be clicked on button. So we will click this button add. Okay, button clad on set on click listener. You can see it is very readable, set on click listener. So what does that mean? Whenever that button is clicked, this block will be executed. Okay, this block will be executed whenever that button is clicked. So what we want now, we will get so okay, simple this text field are just text field. Okay, they will that will contain values of whatever user has entered. So we want values of that now. So for example, I will declare a variable num1, and what that num1 will contain. So num1 will include binding dot field number one dot text to string. Okay, I will need to convert that whole text into string first and then to double. Okay, I will explain this. So this field number one is of edit text type, right? So we will need to access whatever that whatever is written inside this function is of text type. Okay, it don't remember it is number or not, because we will need to pass it after getting it. So we are getting text and converting this text into string first. Okay, and we will get a value in string, and then we are converting this to double, because we can't add two strings, right? If we try to add two strings, then it will concatenate two strings. So that's why we are converting this to double. And same for num2. I will copy paste and num2 and just fill number 2. Okay, now we got this. Now we will get addition equals to, we have just created this function add, and I will pass num1 num2 here, and we will get addition of these two numbers here. Now we want to show result, right? So where is result? Result is in binding dot text result and dot text. Text equals to, and whatever we will return here, which it will be applied, it will be shown here. Okay, so what to set text here? I will show like addition equals to. Okay, now we have collected addition in this addition variable. So in Java, we need to concatenate it like addition, right? But in Kotlin, it's very easy. You can simply concatenate using dollar symbol, dollar and addition. So what it does, whatever the value of this variable, it will be directly included in this. Directly will be replaced here. So I hope you understand this. And now I will simply rerun this application. Okay, I have rerun this application, and you can see error. So earlier we imported that activity second binding, which is not exist, which does not exist now, right? So I will need to remove this. That was that error. Okay, so this is how error looks in Android. Unresolved reference activity second binding. I think it's self-explanatory. And now application is successfully compiled and it's now installing. So I hopefully it should work now. So for example, I will add 10 and 20 here, and I will click this plus button now, and you can see addition equals to 30. For example, I will now change values. For example, make it 100. You can see addition is 120. Let's add decimals. Okay, decimals are not supported here. So why decimals are not supported here? So if you go to design and see, let's click on this number one, and here is a property of input type. I will search directly here. Input type is a number, and okay, here are multiple inputs type. and this is just a number, and okay, I will need to check this number decimal. Okay, now I have checked this and now it should work, and I will simply remove this, and I will do same for number 2, because we want both to support decimal numbers, number decimal. And I will rerun this app again. Let us see if it works or not. Mm, Now, okay, hopefully I can now use decimal numbers. And for example, you can see it is working fine, right? And now if you want to do same for subtraction, multiplication, division, we can do. For example, let us create fast that I will add 4 buttons here now. Okay, uh, for multiplication and division. Okay, okay, I want this button as linear. Okay, how can I do that? So just select these 4 buttons using shift button. I am pressing shift button and selecting these 4 buttons together. Okay, and okay, I will add this button as first. I'm pressing shift button here and selecting all of these buttons here, or I can directly use this or not. Okay, I can directly select it using this, and just right click on that, and here you can see constraint, or you can say why align is not working here. Okay, I think this, I will need to remove previous constraint from this button. I have already added this constraint for plus button, so I'm simply removing them now. And I can also select it from here as well. And yeah, I can now see create horizontal chain. So it will, all buttons now will be in organized in horizontal chain, and you can see all buttons are now organized in a wheel manner. And now we will need to add constraint from this text view also. This is same as we done earlier. If I just zoom it now, okay. Now I want this button as a button subtraction, button sub. For button subtraction, I will change its text as a minus symbol, and this will be called multiplication. So I will button multiply, and I will give X, capital X. Division, button div, and text as a slash, and you can see this is here. Okay, and now you can access this for view binding, like binding dot. You can see like button multiply and all these are added in view binding. So we will do same. What we will do, we will just copy this thing. Okay, or we will say we will create different 3 functions now. For example, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Now we will do subtract, multiply, and divide. This will be this asterisk and division here. And now whatever we did here, we will simply copy this, and okay, we want subtraction button, right? So we will pass sub button sub here, and we will get this value from num1 and num2. And now we want subtraction. Okay, so we will add a variable subtraction equals to subtract num1 num2. So result of subtraction will be stored here, and I will simply show sub equals to subtraction. So whatever will be the value of this variable will be directly printed here. And same for multiplication. For example, button multiply. Uh, I will say multiplication equals to multiply, and multiplication equals to same as we did earlier, multiplication. And again same for division, button div, and division. Okay, we have done this, and this is how our code now looks like. It is like bad practice, like but okay, this is fair enough for this demo application. Okay, because ideally we should what we can say, ideally we should convert this into smaller and smaller functions, but it's okay for demo and understanding. And now I will simply rerun this application and let us see for application is now working or not.
Method calling in division. It's still named add.
Oh yeah, right, thanks.
Yeah, I think we should change the red.
So as you can see, this is copy paste error, and this is what happens in copy pasting. Okay, so this will work fine. Okay, this will work fine, but it will show wrong result, and this is called, we call bug in application. So I will add a 10 and 20 here. So if I click addition, okay, it is showing addition. If I click minus, it is showing as a subtraction. Okay, it's working fine. If I click multiply, okay, it is showing multiplication. And if I click divide, okay, this is working fine. So this is how it is. Okay, and so this is how it works in Kotlin. So you can see this is our application built in Kotlin, and it's very readable, as you can see. Means, for example, if you just read this, then you can get what is happening here. For example, field number one, we are getting its text, we are converting into it to string, and then to double. Okay, and for example, you will notice something here. Okay, for example, if I remove these fields, okay, from here, I remove this, and if I click this plus button, then what will happen? Let us test. So if I click this plus button, application got crashed. Now how to check what gone wrong in application? So you can just click logcat here, and you will see all processes information going here. So for example, I will launch my app again, and you can see logs of this application. So I will click on this plus button. Oh, and it stopped working. So what was that bug? Okay, it was number format exception. So what happened? It happened on main activity line number 17. So what was line number 17? Well, line number 17 was num1 equals to binding. So what was there? The number format exception, and cause was empty string. Okay, you can see empty string. So because of string was empty, it can't convert to double now, because you can see empty string, how it can be converted into double. Then we will need to handle this exception, and maybe if you know exception handling, then you can see. So for example, I will add a try catch here. I think you know exception handling. Okay, I will include this everything in this try block. Okay, and I will catch exception. Which exception was that? That exception was number format exception, and I will simply handle that exception, number format exception. Okay, so whenever this catch block is executed, it means user has the user didn't enter this field values, so you need to handle error. So how we can show toast message to user? Toast message means you can see in application toast messages are displayed. So I will simply add a function here. For example, show toast, and it will have a message parameter, message string. And what it will do, it will just show a toast. So I will show you how toast works. So toast dot make text, it has three parameters: context, text, and duration. So context means this application itself, this activity itself is a context. So I will just pass this as a context. And now text means this message we are passing here. So I will pass this message, and what will be the duration of this toast? So this toast will be a short. So there are two fields, length long and length short. So for example, if I want to show short toast, then I will simply click this short. Okay, now toast is created. Now I want to show it. So I will simply call show method and this toast will be shown. So what I will do is, so whenever this catch block is executed, I will show a toast message and I will simply show a message like invalid numbers. Please enter valid numbers. And again, I will run this application and let us see what happens. And now you can see if I click this plus button, this toast message is displayed. Invalid numbers, please add valid numbers. And you can see it disappeared in short time. And I don't think it's good because user can't read this everything in just small time. So I will pass this long length long. And I restart this application and it should now show long toast. For example, I will just enter this number 1 and I'm keeping number 2 as empty and I will click add button. And you can see invalid numbers, please enter valid numbers, and it lasted for a long time. Okay, we just handle exception in this try addition button, right? We didn't handle this exception but subtraction. So if I click this subtract button, this application will again crashed, right? So we will need to handle this exception in every scenario, right? So this is how it looks, and this is how basic application works in Android, looks in Android. Like addition of these two numbers is simply okay. And for example, you can't divide something by 0. So for example, if I enter 10 and 0, so what will happen here? I will need to if I click divide, then this will return infinity. So we can also handle that case, like if we can add some if conditions here. So for example, in this division, if I click if num2 equals to 0, okay, that 0 was double, okay, that's why it's showing error. So I will need to enter 0.0. So it will, so in that case, what will I show? I will just show a toast can't divide by 0. I don't want result to be displayed here, okay? So I will simply call return here. So return @ set on click listener. So it will leave that body from this expression if number 2 equals to 0. So this won't be executed, okay, if equals to 0. I will simply rerun this application, and again I will enter a 0, and you can see can't divide by 0, okay, as we can handle multiple exceptions now. This is how we can do it in Kotlin. So I hope that's it, and I hope you understood this. And if you have any questions, then please let me know in comments. Okay. I hope you everyone understood this, and please let me know if you don't get any part. I will explain it again if I can. And yeah, if you can directly turn on mic also, like if you have any questions or any doubts, instead of writing there. So this is how that simple application it was. So anybody have any questions or anything which I should repeat or explain again? Okay, I think you don't have any.
Yeah.
I don't have any questions.
Yeah.
So for extra learning, I would recommend you to learn from these code labs in Android. So you can directly search code labs here, and these code labs are really great. But if you don't like to learn from code labs, then you can always find some cool GitHub repositories. I would suggest if you want to be a good Android developer, you should read a code on GitHub. Okay, so you might have heard application Telegram. Okay, so Telegram is open source on GitHub. So if you want to see Telegram's Android source code, then you can directly go to its repository, Dr. KLO Telegram. So this is official repository of Telegram where you will find source code of Telegram itself. And if you want to learn basic applications in Android, then I have a project called Foodium. You can directly go to github.com. Patil Shreyas is my GitHub handle, and Foodium, it's my personal just a toy project, we can say. And here I developed this application just for sample purpose, and this data is coming from internet. So I explain here how we can interact with remote data and everything. And yeah, Android Study Jam syllabus is really a good syllabus. Like you might have learned dice roller application, and I hope after this workshop, this addition of we just created this calculator app, but dice roller app is also again simpler than this. So I hope you will do it on your own. So this is how it is, and I hope that's it. If you still have any questions, then you can ask. Otherwise, I think we can conclude it. And yeah, thanks BSc MLRIT for giving me chance here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shreyas. It was a wonderful, wonderful session. We all got to learn a lot of new stuff. So thank you so much once again. And
Yeah.
once again, just a last call, guys. If you have any doubts, Shreyas is here and you can just drop them in. I think second years might not be super familiar with the final exception handling concepts that Shreyas told,
Mhm.
but that's fine. Otherwise, if you have any other doubts, you can just drop them in here.
Okay. So exception handling is something like I will explain it again. So what
Yeah.
happens? This try catch. We wrap our code in this try catch. Okay, and whatever goes wrong in this block. So if anything goes wrong in this block, this exception is handled here. Okay, so whatever goes wrong here, your code will be now jumped to this. If you don't use try catch block here, your application will be crashed. As we saw earlier, application directly closed, and there was this dialog. Like I can still demonstrate. Like we haven't applied it the multiplication button, right? Like application closes because we didn't handle exception there. So whatever working, if we know our code can break here, we can wrap that code inside try block, and we then write a catch block which catches that exception. Okay, for example, here we catch number format exception. So if we know whenever this block when this block will be executed, whenever number format exception occurs. So what number format exception was? So it can't convert empty string into double, right? It can't convert that empty string or empty field into double value. So that's why it directly goes here. So this is our exception handling, and I hope you will learn it in your college academics in upcoming semesters for sure, in C++ or Java. So that's it, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you, Shreyas. So, guys, once again, this session recording will be on YouTube for you all to slowly go through it once again if you have any doubts. And yeah, so that's it. And this brings us to an end of this session. Once again, thank you so much, Shreyas. It was a great, great session. And yeah, thank you everyone for turning in and listening to us. We hope you all have a great day. Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys for joining us, and thank you, Shreyas. It was a great session.
Hey, thanks everyone for cooperating. And you can reach me anytime on my Twitter handle or anything. I will just put my contact here. You can simply go to my website shreyaspatil.dev, and you can